And away we go. What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Darren Green back with another one of these episodes. You already know what it is. Shout out to the We Are You radio listeners. Shout out to my podcast audio listeners, my YouTube listeners, all that. I love y'all so much. Love y'all down. And I just want to give some shout outs to the people that was in my comments on YouTube, preferably. Sorry for the audio listeners. I know there's no way for you to comment on my podcast unless you're on Spotify. Of course, there's a Q&A option. But yeah, if you on Spotify, get into that. But to the people on YouTube, when I was talking about me putting in my 2 weeks, thank y'all so much for your comments, your kind words, and your support. Basically, a lot of people was just saying congratulations. There was this one person in particular had a little powwow because I was just like, I completely understand. Like she was talking about how she left she was in the banking world for as long as she was in, and basically, they got out of it because of the toxic environment and, having to look a certain way, talk a certain way, be a certain way. And I think I even said in the comments, I was like, it seems like it's a cult almost like sometimes because it's not for me. Let me just say. So I'm glad I'm moving on, and I'm glad you guys were, in support because I don't know, because I feel like I be talking about things a little bit too much. I know y'all like, oh my God, you talk about the same thing every week. Yeah, well, I don't be doing much. Okay. I'm a homebody. So, it is what it is. But thank you so much for your support. This week in particular, though, I had a little bit more time for myself. Like I started doing my little Instagram blogging posts and stuff like that. So basically I did it because I want to start doing that again, of course. And I thought it was a perfect opportunity for me to implement it because for my TikTok videos and soon to be probably reels on YouTube or shorts, judging by this ban, I wanted to have, how sometimes I have the videos and I have my green screen and it's like a picture of a post, a celebrity I want to talk about, but it's a blog post from somebody else's. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of doing this. I want to have my own content to promote on my TikTok also or on other platforms. So I'm using my own, blog posting style. I made them on Canva and stuff like that. So I have my own original content to promote and not, plastering somebody else's brand on my videos. So we're definitely going to be heavy on that in the next coming weeks. I know I did like a couple this week. I'm probably going to start to try to do more. So if you're on Instagram or Twitter, because I'm starting to put it on Twitter, Threads, all of them, I'm not just going to keep them on Instagram like I did before. Because if y'all remember many moons ago, if y'all was really down with the Darren Green cause, I definitely delved into the whole Insta blogging thing back in the day. That's when my Instagram name was like TDGS Media or something like that. And that was like an umbrella term for, the podcast, the blog. And I did have a website blog a little bit. That's if y'all, look, I don't know, this is a little trivia question, child, if y'all remember, honey. But I did have a WordPress website, which I did do a lot of my blogging. Like look, let me tell you something. I am a blogger, okay? Let's be very clear. I'm just, I haven't been doing it for a little bit because I've been focusing on the podcast, but, I'm a blogger. So I'm going to start doing that again and incorporating it and putting it on my Twitters and Threads and also my YouTube community tab. So I did do one post. I did like one post for the community tab, but I'm gonna start doing more in conjunction to the posts that I'm gonna be making. So because I need to really focus on my media, aspect of my life and stuff like that. This is my second job, honey. Hopefully it'll be my only job one day, but we can only manifest, right? Now, that's all I have to say about my week, child. We can get right into the mess because we got to get into some things, okay? Now, we're going to be talking about the whole Quiet on the Set thing, or the documentary, I should say. We're going to talk about how Candace Owens got fired. I'll deliver the news and music. We'll get into some honorable mentions. All that and more coming up on the Darren Green Show, okay? So the first topic I want to get into is none other than the Quiet on the Set recap. Now, this is not going to be like a recap, like every little sector of the documentary I'm going to highlight on it because it's just like, it's a lot. It's a lot, and I don't want to really relive that, honey. It was, when I tell you I binge watched it because I had some free time this week. So I binge watched it on like Tuesday or something like that, right? So basically the documentary gives us access to key cast members, writers, and crew of Dan Schneider's popular series, Nickelodeon, including all that, with members like Giovanni Samuels, Kyle Sullivan, Brian Heem, Katrina Johnson, and the director of The Amanda Show. You know, it had a lot of different people that were staff and people that were the talent of these shows that were all under Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider was the showrunner. And basically it explored a lot of things that went down behind the scenes, a lot of things that Dan Schneider has denied, you know, talking about including sexualizing children and or cultivating a toxic work environment. So we had some writers talk about their experiences. Some women writers talk about how there was a lot of misogyny. I mean, there was this one writer that said that they literally, because she was a woman, like split their salary with another woman writer. So it's, you know, it was a lot of stuff going on there. Racially, some things is going down with the Black cast, how the Black actors and talent were treated, how their parents were treated also. And then also we have some assault that went down by, you know, 3 people that were hired and appointed. I don't care what Dan Schneider wants to say in this little interview that he tried to do on the side. But he definitely appointed these 3 people that assaulted these children. Okay, so that's basically what the documentary was about. And there was a lot of conversation surrounding this documentary. Now, I was on a panel with my boy El Teddy. Shout out to him. It was a really good discussion. I really got to talk to, you know, different creators and other people that listen to our show that want to come on and have their take on the situation. Thought it was very insightful. It kind of opened my mind to certain things, because at first I was very gung-ho, and this will go into our first topic with this discussion, you know, people saying that it's the parents' fault, right? And I kind of went in on that. Like, I kind of like was with that, especially with Drake's father, you know, and spoiler alert, I gotta, you know, tell it, but Drake, you know, from Drake and Drake Bell, he was assaulted by a Brian Peck, and he talked about it on this documentary. And at first I was like, you know, oh my goodness, like I feel like the parents, especially the mother, I mean, of course the mother was very much dropped the ball with that. But his father that noticed and knew that there was something weird going on between Brian Peck and Josh. At first I was like, well, why didn't he do everything in his power to, you know, stop that? But I mean, looking back in retrospect, he did. I mean, we have to understand that these parents, yes, some of them are at fault, but I think that we're missing the bigger picture here. There was a lot of, you know, people and higher ups trying to persuade the talent, which were the kids, against their parents. Like basically saying your parent is being difficult, so you need to like break from them or tell them to stop or do this, that, and the third. There was a lot of mind control going on. And then also the parents, you know, not for nothing, these parents weren't working. Okay, they had their kids working for them. So they were the ones that was making the money and all that. So at the end of the day, it's like, are you going to sit there and you're going to let me do this to your kid, or are you going to sit there and just be fired? Because if you do anything, we'll deem you difficult and we'll get your children out of here. So I can understand how people can fall into the mind control of, oh, your child is going to be famous, you're going to make this amount of money, and nothing is happening. I think this is all in your head or whatever, this, that, and the third. This is how Hollywood works or whatever the case is. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that everybody involved kind of dropped the ball with these kids. Everybody involved. I think I'm going to be more on the people that work there. You guys, I'm talking about Dan Schneider and anybody else that allowed the debauchery that happened behind the scenes. You guys fostered the environment for these kids to be abused. Okay, so I'm more on the people that work there more than the parents. Now there is some parents that was out there that was like that one girl that clearly, that I guess I don't know her name, but she was sent an email by one of the workers there, and it was an inappropriate picture of himself sending it to a child, and she didn't want to. And the parent, you know, when she found out about it, she didn't want to take this to authorities or anything like that. She literally waited until appearing on this documentary. So there is some parents that could be to blame also. We obviously can blame Drake's mother, because by the time, I guess, Drake's father gave the custody to the mother, and the mother allowed this Brian Peck to basically infiltrate her son, Yeah, she's definitely to blame, and she definitely, don't deserve to see the pearly white gates. Okay, I think that it's foul. It's definitely something that me and my best friend were talking about, like how when we were younger, we wanted this life. Like, well, I know I did. I wanted to be an actor so bad. I wanted to be a child star so bad. Like, on the shows and stuff like that, especially Nickelodeon, because I always felt like these people were having fun. But then when you really figure out, like, okay, that was happening behind closed doors. And then when you look at some clips, because there were always like little weird clips and tidbits that they did when it has to do with feed and different, like all the stuff they did with Ariana Grande and stuff like that. That looking back, I'm like, okay, that was definitely like on some, like weird freaky deaky stuff. Okay. Now, of course, there's always going to be people that's going to say some ignorant shit. Okay, let's be very clear. This is the mother of Kyle Massey and Chris Massey. Now, as y'all know, Chris Massey was on the Zoe 101 show, and she basically talked about how, well, I support Don Schneider. He didn't do nothing to my kid, and he gave us a good career, this, that, and the third. I don't know why. It's the parents' fault. My thing is this, like, your children, okay, one is a domestic abuser and the other one child sent some explicit videos to a 13-year-old girl. These are your kids. So with your logic, yeah, it's your fault. You a bad parent, okay? So you want to talk about bad parents, girl, you a bad parent because both of your children is freaking doing everything under the sun. Okay. So I didn't get why she made that response. I guess people are just, chiming in and having their own little conversations or whatever. They want to be, want to go viral with something. But like, honey, you could have kept that to yourself. Just like this Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide people, child. Oh, this is one of my posts, honey. Y'all like my little, okay. Sorry for the audio listeners. But yeah, like the Ned's Declassified people, like they got a podcast now, whatever. And then like the dude, what's his name? Devin or something like that, was making fun of Drake's confessional, like his interview that he did with the with Quiet on the Set. And to me, like, it just didn't make any sense. Like, I'm not gonna sit there. You're joking about a documentary that is very serious, and I know he didn't see the whole interview. I think he's seen the clips that we all seen on social media. But like, when you actually sit down and watch Drake's whole, account of, what happened when he was abused by this Josh Peck guy and his time on with Nickelodeon and stuff like that, ain't funny about nothing. Like, nothing is funny. Like, I feel really bad. Like, this almost scared me because I'm just like, I've always watched, Drake and Josh and all this stuff and watched him on the Amanda Show and stuff like that. I just thought he had the time of his life, but like really behind the scenes, he was really fighting some real demons, literally. So for you to sit there and to joke about that, and like I said on my TikTok, for y'all, like, knowing that if some like that happened to y'all would be the first ones that be on this documentary. Let's be very clear. So I felt like that was very, tasteless. They did make an apology and he was like, oh my God, like I really feel like a piece of crap. Like you are. I guess I'll close off on this because there's also another conversation. When we seen Dan Schneider, he did his little interview. I don't care to talk about this interview. This was very much, he paid the dude T-Bone that was on iCarly to conduct this interview, to say, I'm sorry I made people massage my feet and all that. Like, we don't care about your apology. My last little tidbit that I want to get into before I, change the subject, when it comes to Nickelodeon, because I see a lot of people on Twitter and stuff like that talking about some, oh, well, only spiritual people understood that Nickelodeon wasn't for my kids and they should ban Nickelodeon and this, that, and the third. There needs to be a network like a Nickelodeon on television. Nickelodeon needs to stay on there. At the end of the day, just because one sector of this institution was tainted does not mean it taints the entire institution, okay? The animation studio has some of the best cartoons in the industry. The only issues that I've ever heard them having were creative issues, okay? So, this a system can work here, okay? And I think that they have learned their lessons. I believe Nickelodeon has a new president right now. They got rid of Dan Schneider. Nothing seems to be crazy going on. I mean, like, a lot of their shows are trash now. I'm not going to hold you. But, I mean, kids are watching it, and that's all that matters. And that's just where we are. But yeah, kids need to be watching Nickelodeon. They don't need to be on Zeus Network and watching whatever their parents is watching, child. So there definitely needs to be a Nickelodeon. And I don't know why people are saying, oh yeah, well, spiritual people, you know, we always knew Nickelodeon wasn't crap. Y'all are the same people that said SpongeBob was making kids gay. I'm not trusting y'all spiritual, and it's coded in, because a lot of people in the church back in the day, and I didn't know about this because I wasn't really heavily in the church, but there was people that were saying that, you know, SpongeBob does something to kids' brains and makes them gay or some shit like that. I'm just like, I'm not listening to y'all, okay? Because y'all be making. Let me stop, child. Let me stop, honey. Let me not get into that, honey. I will leave it off on that. This documentary was very surprising, and I don't know what's next. A lot of people say they want to see a Disney version of this, and my thing is this: Disney got money. Mickey ain't gonna let that information out. I mean, what part of Disney do you even want to do a documentary on? Because there's so many facets. I mean, yeah, Disney animation, Disney like the Disney Channel or whatever. I mean, what about the Disney parks? Because there's people that's dying over there too, and people not knowing about that, girl. There's a lot of things with Disney. Disney ain't gonna let that out. Okay, so if y'all looking for like a docu-series of a Disney behind this, girl, I don't know, dark side of Disney, y'all ain't gonna get it, child. I don't see that happening, but anyway, let's move on. Now, I want to get into this whole Candace Owens situation, girl. Candace, never thought I'd see the day. Am I surprised? I'm a little surprised. Yeah, I mean, I am, but I'm not. You know, this was going to happen. She's a very outspoken person, and, you know, things, you know, you say the wrong thing. Anyway, let's get into it. So the Daily Wire CEO, Jeremy Bowen, broke the news in a tweet on Friday saying that Daily Wire and Candace Owens have ended their relationship. Now, Candace confirmed the news in a tweet with her own words, saying the rumors are true and I am finally free. Okay. According to Media Date, Owens' departure from the outlet comes from months of tension between her Daily Wire co-founder, Ben Shapiro, over her promotion of various anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Candace Owens recently appeared on The Breakfast Club and spoke about the incident between her and the Daily Wire founder, Ben Shapiro. She says they had a misunderstanding regarding tweets she made surrounding the Israel and Hamas, to which Ben replied that she should quit. During her sit down with Charlemagne, Owens stated that Ben doesn't have the power to fire me. Okay. And literally a day after that, she got fired. Girl, oh my goodness. He said, Ben Shapiro said, "But you want to bet? You want to bet? Okay." Now, what do I think about this? You know, I feel like the younger me, before, maybe like a couple years ago, I would be like, ha, 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 man. Like, you know, gloating that this girl got fired. I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent. You know, if it's my understanding, and y'all can check me if I'm wrong, Tamel, because I know he about to be in my comments like, well, first of all, we love it though. Look, check me, honey. You can check me. This ain't the show not to check me, honey. If I'm wrong with something, check me. But my best guess is that she got fired because of her coverage with the whole Palestine and Israel conflict. Of course, I think what broke the camel's back was when she talked about how a pro-Israel organization, the AIPAC, lobbied for the bill to pass to get TikTok to be banned because of the users' advocacy for Palestinians. You know, a lot of people were talking about it. A lot of people were boycotting companies. And I will say, I'm not going to just blame AIPAC, you know, or any Israel organizations that lobby. Like, I'm pretty sure they were part of it, but I'm pretty sure there was definitely just some companies in general that just wanted to be a part of this because they don't want their companies to be boycotted, of course. And TikTok is a really big megaphone right now. So I wouldn't just say that it was AIPAC, but that was her opinion. And because of that, and also some other conspiracy theories, like she tried to sit there and say that the president of France's wife is a transgender or whatever. You know, she was saying a lot. She had a lot of theories and conspiracy theories on her channel recently. And also the fact that, yeah, Ben Shapiro really didn't like what she had to say. A lot of people, she had an interview with a rabbi. I mean, she was deemed anti-Semitic. Like she was definitely public enemy at that point. She was given that label, and at the end of the day, brands and sponsors will threaten to part ways with the organization. So the organization has to make the unanimous decision to get rid of you because you become a problem, and that's just how it works. She's gonna say that this is some type of cancel culture thing or anything like that. This is your people, okay? Conservatives. You can't say nothing about no woke, can't say nothing about no cancel culture or anything like that. You got fired from your organization who has conservative views, and y'all agree on a lot of things, but y'all just didn't agree with this one. Here's the thing. And when I say you can't mess with certain people, you can't mess with certain people. I'm going to steer clear. I'm going to be very neutral, but I'm just saying when you get into some topics and then you're not bucking back. And I'm not saying that she should like buck back and just fall into complacency or anything like that. She's an outspoken woman, but that is the consequences of when you become outspoken. Is just like, okay, well, you're a little bit too radical for us. We can't have you around. Also, Daily Wire, they pride themselves on being free thinkers and, saying what's on their mind and not saying anything with an agenda and all this other stuff like free speech. Same thing like with the Elon Musk situation. You pride yourself on free speech and all that, but then you fire somebody because they're implementing their free speech. I just thought that was kind of weird. It was kind of shady, and I don't really care for Candace like that. Y'all already know where I stand with her and what she said in the past. I know she's doing this rebranding. She has, and now it makes sense because maybe she knew that she was going to get fired. So now she's been doing this little media circuit trying to rebrand herself and trying to get the black community to really mess with her, which hasn't been working. I ain't gonna lie. There's a lot of people in the comments, a lot of black people that are saying, oh my goodness, like Candace Owens was really right about that. Like we were really wrong. Like we were really yeah. I mean, the girl might come back and be a goddamn leftist, honey. Which I don't think that's gonna happen. But I think it's a little foul too. She has her own personal YouTube page. So that page that she has, or the podcast page, which has over 3.6 million subscribers. So they're not just going to give her the page? Like, damn, I mean, that's a bad distribution deal, child. I would have definitely been like, I own the rights to this, okay? But I'm sure, when it comes to like these distribution deals, you really don't own the content that you make over there, which, as a podcaster, as an independent podcaster myself, I do look at that like, one day I do want to be signed, but also my shit gonna be on my platforms. Sorry, like that's just gonna have to be in the contract. You ain't gonna sit there and take away. I done built, like, I'm pretty sure she paid more attention to this YouTube page with the 3 million subscribers, and she made those views, and she gets a lot of views. Okay, she's very popular. I don't know, child. I really don't know. She made, I guess she's going on, she did say she had her personal YouTube page that she's going to start promoting and doing the podcast or move the show to there. And then she also has like this website too that she's like asking for like donations and stuff like that. I'm like, girl, donations, honey? What, you wasn't making no money over there at Daily Wire? They wasn't paying you, girl? What you need donation for? Not you panhandling your fans, honey. Girl. But yeah, she made like a little page about that. Look, here at the end of the day, I don't care for Candace. Watching her get fired, I thought I would be like ecstatic, but I'm indifferent, But at the same time, after all that stuff you said, all the deplorable things that she's said in the past, because I really did not like this girl. Like, you asked me back in my college days what I would think about Candace, child, I'd have had to bleep out every word I'm saying on here, child. But I think that everyone deserves an opinion. And I might get a little flack for that. Hell, free speech doesn't mean free of consequences. But, Candace has an opinion, even though her opinion and her views and thoughts are not like, what I get into. I don't think that your platform should be taken away because of your opinions. Do I think that she's anti-Semitic? Girl, that is the question of the hour. I don't think she is per se. I think that some of the talking points can elude someone to think that to be in that way. Because I I am only like, I don't know what she said. I wasn't following her whole coverage on the whole Palestine and Israel conversation. So I don't really, but I do know when she was talking about TikTok and talking about how like these organizations are trying to lobby their way to, you know, get this bill into effect. I don't think it didn't give anti-Semitic, or when she had the conversation with the rabbi. I mean, I personally, I don't think that this woman is anti-Semitic. And I think that, you know, I'm treading lightly. Okay. Cause I don't want to get in trouble now. Y'all getting me in trouble, child. But, I don't know. Tell me what y'all think about it in the comments. This is definitely an interesting conversation though. We'll move on off of this. All right, now let's get into the news and music portion of the podcast. Now we got to start by talking about this. Okay, girl, I was about to say the girlies are fighting. The boys are fighting, honey. Kendrick Lamar, okay, was featured on this Future and Metro Boomin song called Like That, and he takes shots at J. Cole and Drake. Okay, in one of the lines, he said, F the big three. Okay, he made mentions to Drake and J. Cole's song First Person Shooter, and I believe, because I was having conversations with people and they were saying that Drake or J. Cole may have taken some shots on First Person Shooter, you know, against Kendrick, which is why Kendrick probably made that diss. I don't know. Okay, it's up in the air. People are very like surprised and like, where did this come from? People are wondering why Metro allowed Drake to be dissed on the song. Well, there is a little bit of tension between them. I think Drake was slated to be on a song for Metro's, like one of his albums. And you know, Metro didn't want his verse on there, so he didn't put his verse on there. And I think they unfollowed each other, or Drake unfollowed Metro, because you know Drake a little pillow princess, honey. You know he a messy queen. He said, you ain't gonna have me on the song, fine, I'm gonna unfollow you. Like, yeah, you know how Drake is or whatever. It's definitely up in the air as to, you know, what started this beef or whatever the case. You know, Kendrick, he does a lot of things for the sport. It could definitely just be, a little bit of a sparring match or whatever. I think J. Cole just was hit with, he was collateral, unfortunately. We're not sure if he's going to respond or anything, child. That will be very interesting to see, you know, somebody like a J. Cole and Kendrick going back and forth. Drake, he might get one little line in a song that he'll be featured in, or maybe he's dropping a new album like months later in response or whatever. Or maybe he'll make a tweet or whatever, or go live or say some innuendo, because, you know, that's what Drake does. I think it's about time Drake gets some action. Okay, you know, Drake is very untouchable in the industry when it comes to, these fellas beefing. And it seemed like people just, tuck their tail when they talk about Drake. You know, I do believe Drake is the Elon Musk of rap. Unfortunately, honey, because I don't give a crap about no damn Drake. But people just don't want to try him. And I thought that was interesting to see Kendrick Lamar do that. People are definitely afraid to press Drake. I don't know, but tell me what y'all think about it. Anyway, speaking of beefs, okay, we got to talk about this one-sided beef that Erykah Badu has with Beyonce, because I don't understand. I seriously don't get it. Ma'am, we are at your big age. Why are we still, making comparisons and saying, you stole my look? Like, girl, the Rick James look, that's what she stole. But anyway, before I even get into Erykah Badu, shout out to Beyonce, because she did, and I made this post too. See, look how nice that post I made, child. Anyway, shout out to Beyonce first, okay? She definitely gave us like a sneak peek. Well, not a sneak peek, but like she gave us like the album cover, and then also she spoke to us and talked about how, the trials and tribulations of this act or this album that's about to drop. And, I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was good. And I thought it was like, an amazing thing that she like basically was number one on the country charts. Like the first Black woman to do this with that genre. This is, amazing, right? So shout out to her. But anyway, Erykah Badu took it upon herself to basically say that, hey, you know, that little braid bang that you got right there that you posted, honey, I did that first, okay? Because she made this Insta story saying, like, you know, trying to insinuate that she did that before. And, the blogs are gonna go back and forth with old pictures like, oh yeah, well, you know, she did have the little bang, the braid bang with the beads or whatever. And it's crazy that I'm agreeing with Bobby Lights, right? Like, every time Beyonce comes out with something, she posts something, she talks about her brand of business, she's announcing of new music, it is met with criticism, comparison, or whatever. And at this point, I'm thinking like these celebrities are just like clout chasing, like literally, Erykah Badu is literally a clout chaser. And for you to sit there and then make this tweet, let me see if I can find it. Cause I was looking at like, oh my God, Jay-Z, say something. You gonna let this woman and these bees do this to me like she did something to you? Like I don't understand. Like, you were the one. You always open your damn mouth and then you get mad when the fans attack your ass, dox your ass. And I don't condone doxing. Let's be very clear. But I mean, Beyonce can't control it. Or whatever the case is, yeah, you got dragged. That's how this works. That's how 2024 works. Okay, you come for somebody that got a real crazy fan base, they gonna come for you. Okay, and why are you talking to Jay? It's like at your fossil age. And let me not age shame, child. Cause for y'all get there in my comments like, oh my goodness, that is you are ageist. Okay, girl. All right, let me stop. But seriously, like, how old are we? We are acting childish. You at your big age, you're acting this childish. Okay, she your little braid bang, the beads on the braids, child. People have done that for millennia. Let's be very clear. And just to go back at Beyonce, like, she is the first Black woman to go #1 on the country charts and the first to go #1 worldwide with a country song. This is almost Black history. Right? Let's be very clear. And y'all are bitching about it. It's giving crab in a bucket mentality. Cause it's not even just Erykah Badu. It was Azalea Banks as well. Like, she did this MLA formatted, 3-tier thesis, 5-page essay, talking about how Beyonce panders to white people and she finally got the white validation that she was getting and all this other, same stuff she was saying last time. And like, Beyonce is not watching y'all girls. Okay. Like, let's be very clear. A lot of Beyonce's like inspiration is not y'all. It's damn sure ain't Azalea. You had an argument back when it was in Renaissance, because I will say this. I mean, maybe she did take a little bit of inspiration from, your house, because Azalea Banks run house. This is country now. What is she looking at you for, Azalea? What is she looking at you for, Erykah? Let's be very clear. Just a couple looks that were similar. Let's be very clear. And no one's copying you, okay? Get over your life, okay? When you put something out on social media, it's going to come back tenfold. Okay, that's just how it works, okay? Sorry that nobody's going to bat for you when somebody drags you, okay? Well, actually they did, because when that damn chipmunk or that damn mouse, what's his name, Academics, was coming for you, and people was on your side, like me, I was definitely on your side with that situation, because I'm like, what? Like, why are you arguing with? Anyway, but like, girl, get out of here. Anyway, moving on. I do want to talk about Nicki Minaj, because she is like literally next week, or that Thursday and Friday, I will be seeing her. She recently sold out for 2 nights, okay, at the Farm Arena in Atlanta. Okay, shout out to Nicki Minaj. Now, I do want to talk about how she did recently canceled one of her shows in New Orleans due to a flu. And there was a lot of conversations behind that. And, me and my best friend talking. I ain't gonna reveal what we talked about, because I don't want to be like, oh my God, you going, but girl. I was like, girl, the flu, really? The flu, honey. And then we bounced back at Atlanta a couple days later, honey. Girl, that's not how flus work, honey. The flu, or she must got a good immune system. Shout out to that immune system, honey. But a flu lasts for weeks, almost. Because I rarely get the flu. Let me knock on wood, because I do not want to get no flu. I was sick for like weeks, or a couple weeks. But the bounce back is definitely interesting. Some people were alleging that, it's because she didn't sell out that night. That's why she canceled. I don't think that. And I think that's kind of like immature to say too. Like we seen people like Funky Dineva talk about it and stuff like that. I'm just like, girl, really? She was, because let's be clear, she's not the only one that canceled shows. Like Beyonce canceled a couple shows and it had nothing to do with her being sick or anything like that, but it was like scheduling problems. Drake has canceled shows before. Like a lot of people have canceled shows before. I mean, you mean to tell me Nicki was not gonna want to be a part of the show just because it didn't sell out? Like, even if it didn't sell out, it's probably still gonna be a lot of people that showed up, and that's a lot of money that she was gonna collect. But she did say that it was gonna be rescheduled. So they said, people keep your tickets because it's gonna be rescheduled. I don't know how they're gonna do that, but things can be done. But anyway, shout out to Nicki, and I can't wait to see her on Thursday and Friday. Thursday and Friday. This is definitely interesting too. There was some more news that came out too about Nicki. I gotta deliver the news, honey. It is what it is. But yeah, they say that Nicki Minaj and her husband were accused of ambushing a security guard with violence a couple years ago, and I think it's like a $500,000 lawsuit or whatever. This topic has kind of been put on the wayside, but TMZ just now reported it, because TMZ has not reported this at all. Like I've seen like Radar Online articles and other like nefarious blogs talk about this, but this is definitely becoming like a real thing now. And I'm just like, okay. There was like something that happened when she was on tour way back when it was I think the Queen tour. And it was alleged that Nicki's husband, like, essentially, it started off because Nicki was arguing with I think one of the women's security guards or somebody else that was working for them at that time. She was arguing with her, and then like another security guard tried to diffuse the situation. And then that's when Nicki's husband came in and allegedly he broke the man's jaw. Okay. Beef. Is that beef? Okay. Girl. That is, look, if that's true, girl, you're gonna put a muzzle on that boy child. Gotta put a muzzle on that damn husband. Cause what is going on, honey? Anyway, child, that's what's been alleged. So, but y'all will tell me what y'all think in the comments. That's it for the news and music. I don't have much else to say. Let's get into the honorable mentions now. Okay. Now I wanted to talk about Amanda Seales. Yeah. That dang Amanda Seales, honey. This is what she had to say. Okay, I'm gonna play what she had to say.
If it wasn't for y'all, I would really think that I ain't doing shit. Because the industry I'm in does not recognize me. And to be clear, I'm speaking about the black spaces in the industry I'm in. Because y'all know I don't give two damns about any of these other spaces. But the black spaces is what I'm referring to. Which is largely in part why I've realized like I need to shift out of this industry. Like I don't get invited to Essence Women in Hollywood. I've never been invited to the NAACP Image Awards. I've been nominated for an Image Award. Never been invited to the NAACP Image Awards. Never been honored at Black Girls Rock. Like I've hosted these events. You know what I'm saying? I literally hosted the BET Awards in 2020 in my house, and I was not invited to the BET Awards since.
So, yeah, she talked a little bit about that and not being included in black spaces, which I agree. Like, there's not a lot of, you don't see Amanda Seales in a lot of things since her time with Insecure. And I know there was some mutuals that talked about it also, saying, well, she burned bridges with a lot of people. There was a situation with Issa Rae and that party that she wasn't invited to, and there was things that she did with other people. And despite that, I mean, okay, fine. I will do research on that further. But just looking at optics, like Amanda Seales has been around in the industry far as, she did host the BET Awards, and she did, I think was a nominee of the NAACP. I mean, just in her podcast was very successful also. I listened to it at one point, it is kind of weird to see that she's not, included into things. And in Essence, I think they made like an article that was real problematic, saying that this is why we need to be likable or something. I'm paraphrasing, but the title was this is Candace, or not Candace, girl. Amanda Seales is the reason why we need to be likable in the workplace, and I'm just like, what? Where did that come from? Like, we don't need, like, why are we putting out content like that? We don't need to be likable in the workforce. We need to be able to do the work, okay? And that's what Amanda Seales, despite if y'all like her or not, was doing. She did the work, okay? And I do feel that she should be accredited or included in these spaces. I mean, I don't know what she goes through day to day. I can have an understanding as a person that's independent, as a person that, is outspoken himself, like me. I definitely can understand how, you do all this work and you don't really get that much recognition. I can only imagine, what it's like to actually did things. And I'm not saying I didn't do anything, I'm doing my thing. But someone like Amanda Seales, she has done so much and has received so little in appreciation. I think it's because of her being an outspoken Black woman. And, when you have that title, you kind of have to stand alone to it at the same time. This is the content that you chose to be. This is how you chose to be in this world. That's kind of the consequences, and as opposed to if there's a cishet white man doing it or a cishet Black man that's very abrasive with their messaging and stuff like that, they don't get as much flack as, a Black woman would. So I don't know. I say all that to say Amanda Seales should definitely be recognized, and for people to say otherwise, I mean, it's just y'all personal vendetta against her, what y'all saw, what other people said. I know when I first heard about Amanda, I didn't like her either. Like, I felt like she was too mean. She was too this, she was too that. And then I had to really unpack why I thought that. And then I was like, no, she's saying it in a certain way. What she's saying is the truth. What she typically says is the truth. So, yeah. Do with that information what you will, honey. That's all I have to say about that. And I think that's all for this show, honey. It's not too much to talk about here. Thank you so much for listening. Shout out to my We Are You radio listeners. Love y'all so much. Shout out to the audio podcast listeners and the visual listeners. Be sure to leave a comment, y'all, because I know y'all will. And on that note, I will see y'all guys next time.